Shalom lekulam! Hello everyone! Welcome to this lesson series on Hebrew suffixes. This is a lesson series in 7 parts. And in this part 1 introduction, we're going to have an overview of the different types of cases where suffixes are used in the Hebrew language. So what is a suffix? A suffix is something that you add at the end of a word. And since Hebrew is written from right to left, suffixes are added on the left end of a word. In this example, we have the word tapuach. Tapuach means apple. And to say apples, we add the suffix im. That becomes tapuchim, apples. So suffixes serve many different purposes in Hebrew: to indicate gender and number, to indicate directionality towards someone or something, to conjugate verbs, to know the past tense, present tense, future tense, infinitive forms, and imperative forms of verbs. And suffixes can also indicate possession. Suffixes are also used in what we call the construct states, and they are used to form derivative words and loan words which are not native to the Hebrew language, meaning words that come from foreign languages. So, how do suffixes indicate gender and number? The suffix im usually indicates the plural of masculine nouns. The example here is tapuach, which means apple. It's a masculine noun, so its plural form is tapuchim, apples, by adding the suffix im. And the second example is matana. Matana is a feminine noun. It means gift. And to form its plural form, we add ot, matanot. So the suffix ot usually indicates the plural of feminine nouns. So that's the general rule, but like in all languages, there are exceptions. There are masculine nouns that pluralize with the suffix ot instead of im, and there are feminine nouns that pluralize with the suffix im instead of ot. So those are exceptions to the rule. We will see examples of that in part 2 of this lesson series on Hebrew suffixes. Okay, now, suffixes can also indicate directionality. So when attached to prepositions, suffixes can indicate directionality towards a person or people. And here's an example, a very famous Hebrew song, in fact. So, Shalom Aleichem means peace be upon you. So, al is a preposition which means on or upon. And when we add the suffix echem, that becomes alechem. That means on or upon you. Okay, when we're talking to masculine people, right? And that there are many. So masculine plural. Okay, when we're addressing to masculine plural people, so we say alechem. Echem is the suffix for that. We will see more examples in part 3 of this lesson series. Suffixes are also used to conjugate verbs. And in fact, suffixes are essential to verb conjugations, to know the verb tenses, present, past, future, okay, to know the imperative and infinitive. So in this example, we have the Hebrew verb lehagia. Lehagia means to arrive. So, and to conjugate that in the second person masculine form. So present tense is you arrive or you are arriving when talking to a male person. Magia, the suffix is ia. And to say the past tense of arrived, you arrived, we say higata. Higata, ata is the suffix. And to say the future tense of arrive, you will arrive, we say tagia. ia is the suffix here. And to say arrive in the imperative form, we say hageya, hageya. So let's look at this dialogue. We have a video which has been published previously, right? This girl is talking to her grandfather, so her grandfather is the second person and is masculine. So she says, "Matai higata," when. Matai means when. Higata means you arrived. So she's literally saying when you arrived. Ata higata. But that is really saying when did you arrive, right? So as we can see here, it is the suffix ata, which tells us that it is in the past tense. When you arrived, when did you arrive? And we are going to take a closer look on how suffixes are used to conjugate verbs in part 4 of this lesson series. Suffixes can also be used to indicate possession. When attached to nouns, the suffixes indicate possession, although, as we will see in a future lesson, shall is more commonly used for this purpose. Let's take a look at the word eretz, that means land or country. So if I'm a male person, which is not the case, okay, I would say my land, artsi, first person, masculine singular. If I'm talking to a male person, I would say, and I would like to say your land, I would say artsecha, artsecha. Echa is the suffix. And if I want to say his land or its land, artzo, okay, o is the suffix. If I'm referring to a third person who is singular and masculine. Now, how about plurals, plural forms? So we're talking about lands here, okay, several lands. If I'm a male person and I want to say my lands, I would say artsatai. And if I want to say your lands, okay, talking about several lands, I'm talking to one male person and I'm saying your lands, okay, to him, I would say artsatecha. Otecha is the suffix. And if I want to say his lands or its lands, talking about a third person, okay, but the noun being possessed is plural, okay, artsotav, talking about lands, several lands, not just one land, okay. So uh, this really requires a lot of memorization, and we will see more examples of suffixes to indicate possession in part 5 of this lesson series. Suffixes are also used to form what we call construct states. Now, in Hebrew, a word is said to be in a construct state when it is connected to another word to form another term. So, such connected words are called a construct chain. They are constructing, they are building another word. So, here's an example. So, the Hebrew word for day is yom. Yom means day. But when we connect yom to another word, so here we have Yom Zikaron. Zikaron means remembrance. So we put the two together to say Yom Zikaron. That means day of remembrance. So it's not saying day remembrance, Yom Zikaron. Okay. Now it's a saying Yom takes on the meaning of day off instead of just day. Yom Zikaron, day of remembrance. Now here's an example where to form to a construct chain. So the word yom did not change in spelling. There's no suffix that was attached to yom. Now let's look at a second example. Yamim. Okay, yamim is the plural form of day. So that means days. Okay, yom is day. Yamim means days. Okay, plural of days. But to say days of remembrance. So we don't say yamim zikaron, we say yemei. There's a suffix added to it, and yam becomes yem. Okay, yemei, and the suffix is a. So that means days of. If you add yeme to zikaron, so yeme means days of, right? And zikaron means remembrance. Yeme zikaron, that becomes days of remembrance. And we are going to see more examples of suffixes in construct states in part 6 of this lesson series. And finally, suffixes are used in derivative words and loanwords. Here are some examples. So, sefer means book. To say booklet, we add on. It becomes sifron. Sefer, sifron. Well, it's similar to English, like book is book, okay, but if you add let to book, it becomes booklet. So there's a suffix. It means little book. Booklet, okay. Booklet means little book. So sefer, sifron. Sefer means book, sifron means booklet. Now, the other example is to form a loan word. So, of course, geography, calligraphy, okay, history, okay, those are not native to the Hebrew language. But to form those kinds of words, so Hebrew would add suffixes like grafia. So here, geo means is geo. Okay, geo means geo, right? And to say geography, we add graphia. Geographia means geography. Okay, that's how we say that in Hebrew. And we're going to see more examples in the final lesson in this series, part 7, okay, of this lesson series on Hebrew suffixes. So that's it for this introduction to Hebrew suffixes. To recap, we use suffixes to indicate gender and number, conjugate verbs, indicate directionality, to indicate possession, form construct states, form derivative words, and loan words from other languages. In part 2 of this lesson series, we're going to take a closer look at how Hebrew suffixes are used to indicate gender and number of nouns and adjectives. Thanks a lot for watching, and להתראות. See you next time for the continuation of this lesson series.